always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life.
Alright guys, so here we're looking at a couple of our accounts. As you can see up at the top here, I have added a couple more portfolios to track a couple of my new stocks I've purchased here in the past week or two. Wanted to kind of diversify as I'm making more and more money. That way I'm not holding everything in just one stock like I was with AMD. It has worked very well thus far, but as my account starts growing to that 50 plus range here soon, I do want to expand a little bit. I did realize that I picked up a few car companies or automotive companies, so I will probably start moving into other realms as I make more money. Lucid and Rivian are both great electric car companies that I have faith that they will do very well in. I've been seeing Rivian vehicles around my part the country quite frequently now, and quite honestly, if I had the money, I would go ahead and buy one of their trucks. With that said, Ford has always done very well. After they released that they were doing a special dividend, as well as they do have a very good dividend already, I knew that this would be a good long-term hold, as well as a good dividend stock to make a little bit of passive income on, one through dividend and two through covered calls. Now I will have to adjust my covered calls for this company because they are not as high as some of these other companies. So I'll figure out if they're a good way to make money through cover calls, or if it's just going to be monthly cover calls far out of the money, just to give me a little boost. Lastly, you'll see here I picked up some Bed Bath & Beyond. Quite honestly, they were super cheap, and they are moving into restructuring. So if they are going to restructure, I do want to capture a little bit of that, as well as their return on covered calls. They are currently very high, and I think that is just due to the overall volatility of that stock. I do understand that the risk of losing my entire stake in them is possible if they go under, but we will see what happens. They already released that they're going to do a new stock offering, so maybe that'll help. Maybe they'll get a quick boost here shortly, and I'll see my shares go up quite significantly. But just a little bit of a fun play. Not much money invested in them. They're only they're less than $2 a share, and I think I have 300 or 400 shares at this point. So less than $1,000 in them. Not going to hurt me too bad if anything does happen. But hopefully Bed Bath & Beyond is around for the long haul, and hopefully this restructuring and their company will have a turnaround this year, and we'll see them kind of crawl their way out of the extinction. All right, so moving forward, let's go ahead and start with AMD, our main account. This is the one that we have the most money in. As you can see here, I currently have 1,000 shares riding on AMD. Down here, I closed out 100 shares or one covered call and made $33 on that at the bottom today on Wednesday. Put that back into an 86 call this week, as I think AMD is going to trade around that $86, $87 range this week. So may miss out on a couple dollars of potential gain, but I've quite learned my lesson to just let my cover calls ride out and take the money where it is at. So we're going to go ahead and do that. As you can see here, I closed the position after I rolled it. I learned a very valuable lesson about rolling. I rolled my position up here twice, and I ended up rolling so far out of the money, or not so far out of the money, but ended up rolling so far out in expiry that by the time I was like, okay, well, this isn't really going to help, or I'm going to spend months waiting for AMD to, give me back what I put into it. As far as cover calls, I just decided to close the position. Ended up losing a little bit, but the main reason for that happening was AMD jumped on their earnings I should not have sold cover calls on the earnings. I kind of broke one of my rules that I typically follow, but I didn't think AMD was going to go as high as they did. So they did, which was quite a pleasant surprise. So one thing that I did do though, since I did close out the position, you can see that I made $11,000 in stock equity. However, I did lose $6,000 or over $6,000 in realized premium from my cover call. So that has actually skewed quite significantly my cover call um, amount that I've made this year so far. So I'm actually down $2,076 on premium, but I am up $11,000 plus on stock equity. So total, I'm up $9,513, which if you do the math, that's, divide that by two. We're halfway through the second month, or we're into week 7 now, out of 8 of this year, and so we are doing pretty darn well. But that is AMD. Let's jump over to Intel here, so you can see how the $2,500 account is going. One thing I'm going to go ahead and mention is, just like AMD, I didn't know much about it, but I attempted it and I rolled some calls and realized that I did not want to keep those cover calls, so I closed out the cover calls. But what I didn't do was sell my stake in Intel at the peak of when I closed out the cover calls. Thus, Intel dropped all the way back down to $27, $28, and I kind of lost a good bit of money there. So realized premium from the 5th week of this year was negative $316. This is a big hit. I'll be honest, I kind of hurt a bit. Moving forward, you can see I took a 2 right here. In week 6, I made $64, which was pretty good comeback. And then here, moving into week 7, I'll have $44 once this is done. Intel is, of course, kind of pushing up towards that $29 range right now, so maybe they'll reach it, maybe they'll go past it, but we'll see, and hopefully that'll help me to offset a little bit of this realized premium. Now, typically, I would say that this realized, you would hopefully have a little bit more premium or monthly income than this, so this is going to affect us moving forward throughout the year, but hopefully we'll continue to rebound from this. This does show you, why rolling isn't always a good case, especially if you're trying to make a weekly income off cover calls or monthly income. Rolling is really for far out cover calls, or a farther out strategy than what I am playing or what I am investing in. So overall, you can see negative $124 over 7 weeks. Not great, but we still have our 200 shares, and we're going to keep on trucking. We'll slowly climb out of this to make, again, a positive income, and I suspect that'll happen in probably about two or 3 weeks. Moving on, I just want to kind of go over these other ones real quickly. We got Lucid here. Lucid, we're actually making pretty darn good realized premium. Here we've made $163. We have a total of 200 shares now, so doing pretty well. That was Lucid. So for Rivian, we again have 200 shares. Here I closed out 1 share and dropped it down to 20. That was a mistake because, of course, today they popped up to close over $21, so they had a really good run today. With that said, I expect both of these to be exercised, and then I will record the total that I made on them. We'll probably end up buying back my 200 shares next week if these do get exercised. Moving to Ford, one of those juicy not premiums, but that juicy dividend. So I bought 200 shares. Not a lot of money invested in them, but a little bit over $2,000 invested total. So not a lot of premium, but they are ticking around that $12 to $13 a share right now. So I may have to end up rolling them out. The reason I'm going to roll these guys out, though, is because I'm not really going to use Ford for a passive income. I want to use it more for their dividend because of, well, how good the dividend is. Also, I suspect that as they get into the EV market, being one of the biggest manufacturers in the United States, they will be heading up. Lastly, Bed Bath & Beyond, let's just call this a laughable play. And I'm bored, so not that I'm actually bored, but this is just a fun little one to have here. So you can see I have a total of 400 shares now. I got 2 different cover call sets going. Total right now we got about $9 over here and $3 over here. Last week I did 200 shares at $14 a premium, so I actually made $14 a premium. However, my cost basis is a little heavy on them currently, especially for these 300 shares. These 100, I'm actually above the water. These 300 shares right here, I'm below the water. Not great, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully Bed Bath & Beyond sticks around and we'll keep buying towels from them. All right, guys, that's it for all the portfolios. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and share, and keep following this, and let me know if you have any questions or if you this is all making sense. I'm trying to get I'm trying to get these spreadsheets as clean as possible so that they make sense, just so that we can really do a good job of tracking how much we're making weekly, monthly, etc. But the 2 main accounts I do want to focus on again are the main account using AMD and my Intel account, to show that, I started with $2,500 and, moving it up to the top. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and follow this channel to get motivated to make your own covered call account and start making your own passive income.
With the grind, I could change in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win at life. I never miss that stack.